Good afternoon. It is that time again, midday meditation time. Some people would say this is becoming a habit. I think it's a good one. There's Helene, there's Ruth. So nice to have you all tuning in, all my regulars. There's Krista. Hi. I'm just going to be quiet for a little bit while we wait for everybody to get signed on. And for those of you that are on early, I love that you get on early so you have a minute to do your commenting and to say your hellos, and then you can settle yourself into your space. So I think your space is really important. I imagine that most of us at this point have had to carve out a space for yourself in your home, right? A space for work, a space for eating, a space for TV. Many of us have not used our homes for really our meditation and our yoga practice, and we have sort of taken for granted that that all happens at a studio somewhere. And I think that something really beautiful that could come out of this is that many of us will have cultivated the discipline to be able to have a home practice of our own. So I am really hopeful that that is going to be one of the outcomes. And if you're working from home, what might just happen is that at 12:30 you simply just kind of switch to another window, you leave your work aside, and you just tune in, push your chair back a little bit, reset your posture, and that you check out of whatever you were doing and check in with yourself. I mean, that's something that even if you end up going back to your office, can continue to happen. And I'm going to encourage you to realize the ways in which you have been able to carve space for yourself, whether it's space in your schedule time-wise, or it's actually a space. Like I created this little space in my home. I moved last summer, and really until this quarantine, I hadn't really created sacred space for myself in the house. And so there's something really beautiful about that, and I feel like there's just one little element of making it feel more like home. So wherever the space is that you are carving for yourself, time or place, just want you to recognize that. I think that that's an important thing, and we should continue that. Even after the next few weeks, if things start to open up, if things start to change, let's put value on some of the new things that we've been doing so that we can maintain them going forward. There was a lot of talk yesterday about, are things going to open, when they're going to open. So now that we've all finally kind of settled into some form of a routine, now there's like a whole nother element of conversations of things that can uproot and unnerve us again. So the truth is that we don't know. The truth is we really don't know. Are we going to be ready to change in a week? I don't know. Are we going to keep doing what we're doing? Even if we are given permission to open back up, how many businesses actually will? You know, there's all this stuff to contemplate. And at least this is what's been going on with me. And what gives me peace, what really gives me peace and keeps me grounded, is knowing that we don't know. And that for today, I'm going to do my work at home. I'm going to teach my classes. I'm going to lead the meditation. I'm going to connect with community. I'm going to eat well. I'm going to sleep well. I might go out for a really nice long walk again. And that's what I'm going to do to sustain myself. So this time that we have together right now is our time for sitting. And so let us find a comfortable place to sit. Just really, really in your desk chair with your feet on the ground. Maybe you have a little comfortable space in your home. Go ahead and find it. Sit yourself down. Put the device somewhere that you can listen, and just don't mind it too much right now. Once you settle into your posture, start to really notice the little mechanics of your body. It's something interesting. Like I said yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that it took me months to figure out how to sit. And even now, I'm fidgety. I'm fidgety when I meditate. Maybe it's the camera. Maybe it's like having the camera on me and knowing that I'm here to hold space and facilitate for you, that it's not really a deep time for meditation for myself. So I find that my sitting has been quite moving. You know, I'm checking the clock and a variety of other things. So just interesting to note. And I think that is the key. That is the gift that meditation has given me. It has given me the skills and the awareness to be the witness, so that I can observe my thoughts, I can observe my feelings, I can observe my body. I understand better how I live in my body, how I navigate my thinking, and even my responses to all of the ebbs and flows of the changes of life. So just know that the meditation really does accumulate in terms of the value that it brings to your life. So for now, we're just sitting, we're looking at the posture. Are both sit bones grounded? And all of this that I'm going to walk you through right now is really just simply mindfulness. Can you feel the same amount of weight in both legs? Can you feel the same amount of weight in both hips? Are there some natural curves in your spine? And actually, if we look at the way the pelvis is tilted, if we let the tailbone stick out and we create a deep fold in the front of the hips, it's a little bit harder to sustain than if you draw the tailbone down and have the slightest little lift in the belly. So we balance the pelvis, not only left to right, but front to back. And when we can get that little pelvic basin to sit comfortably, the spine can usually hold itself up pretty easily above it. And I want you to bring a curiosity to the idea that you understand the space where your heart is. Could you see if you could get the heart to feel balanced and to sit right above that pelvic basin? And then right above the heart, we actually start to look for, and it's really interesting, if you let your head tip forward or you let the head tip back, you can almost feel how the shifting of the weight of the head changes the muscles that are active in the body. And if you can actually look to find the place where your head is centered, gravity will take over. You will feel some sense of support of the space around you. And there won't be as much effort just to maintain your seat. Now our eyes are closed and we are actively scanning the body. Sometimes we have little parts of the body that clench or grip. And sometimes that's necessary for support, but it should never feel really tight. We're going to try to sit up nice and regal, like a lengthening up through the spine, but at the same time, without clenching or gripping any muscles to hold it. And so there's this teeny little dance, these little nuances of adjustments and movements that happen all throughout you. And eventually I hope that you find a place that can feel steady and effortless. And we're going to do a mudra today. We're going to connect the index finger and the thumb. It's like the ego and the universal. It's like our connection to everything else. And you can let your hands rest facing upward, That would be a gesture of wanting to receive. You could also take the same mudra and place the hands down. That would be a little bit more grounding. And sometimes for me, even just having the hands toward the knees pulls my posture forward. So I notice if I pull my hands back, my elbows back, it helps me to sustain that place that is steady and effortless. There are days where I just let my hands float. And that's another option that you can try as well. So all of this is mindfulness. Catching yourself in your habitual patterns of movement and holding. And once you feel like you found a good place, just focus on your breath. No pranayama today, no special breath techniques. A natural breath that can hold your attention. And everything we do today will be an act of consciousness rather than effort. So the truth of this meditation will come down to being, not doing. As you continue, your only task is to pay attention. The eyes softly closed, you can turn your eyeballs up toward the center of the forehead, but do it gently. It's a gesture. being asked to do is to pay attention. Just simply sitting can be an act of consciousness, not effort. So draw your attention back into wherever you are. Start to breathe a little bigger, a little more deeply, a little more consciously. And when you feel ready, just sort of release the posture. Let your back soften. You can unfold your legs. Let your head really bow humbly forward. And I love the humility in letting the head bow and chin to the chest. And so before we look at any device, before we look at any space around us, we actually feel right where we are. So maybe we blink our eyes open. But this moment is ours. When you feel ready to reconnect, you lift your head, you lift your gaze, and you return to that feeling of being connected to the whole. Maybe first to the space that you're in, to the time that you've chosen to carve out. You look at the clock, and maybe you start to look back at the device and you see the comments starting to come through again. And I love how that at the beginning there's so many, and then it all stops, and then as we finish, there you go again. And so that really does let me know that you are doing the work, that you are sitting with me, and that together we are just cultivating that skill of paying attention. And I promise you that everything we do here together is not really just for the moments that we sit. It is to awaken the skills in us so that we could use them all the time in all the aspects of our lives. You know, I don't think that the things we do on the mat and the things we do when we're sitting are really just meant for then. I think the real value in these practices is when we can take them off of our mat and into our lives. So I thank you. I thank you all so much for carving out this time, for carving out this space, for being a part of this experience, whether it's happening now live or it's happening all through the rest of the day. I do feel you. I feel supported by you. I feel connected to you, and I am grateful for you. So thank you for tuning in. Again, always feel free to share your thoughts, your comments. From one technique to the next, you may have better experiences than others. So I always love to hear. If there was a favorite, I could always circle back to it. And if something really nice happened for you, like you had some kind of an awakening or some intuitive thought while you were sitting, I feel like it would be so beautiful to share it. If you don't want to share it in the comments, just go ahead and private message me. I love deep and meaningful conversations, so I invite you to connect. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Om peace, peace, perfect peace, my friends. May we find it within, and may we be an example of it out in the world. Namaste.